Hi, this is Aaron Hickman from the Retro Obscura podcast, and you're listening to Two Dudes and an S.
Hey, Justin.
Yes?
You want to play Raid On Bungeling Bay?
Never heard of it. What?
Me either.
Wait, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of it. I'm just joking.
Okay.
Alright, let's play Raid on Bungeling Bay.
Let's do it.
Alright. Very interesting game. Very interesting build to this game.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than most games, especially the controls and stuff, but we can talk about that during the gameplay. I want to just kick right into it, so why don't you give me some history?
Justin's historical tidbits and trivia.
Alright. History about Raid on Bungeling Bay. So Raid on Bungeling Bay was released for the NES in 1985. It was actually a port. The original was published by Broderbund, but it was released and ported for the NES by Hudson Soft. And they've created several other more games that we probably have heard of, like Bomberman, I believe it is. Yes, Bomberman. Anybody heard of that?
No.
Adventure Island and Bonk's Adventure. Heard of any of those?
Nah.
Know that one?
Nah.
No?
Never heard of 'em.
Okay. Alright. Well, we don't need to talk about those. We're talking about Raid on Bungeling Bay, right?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay. Raid on Bungeling Bay. Now, the most interesting thing about this game was who created it. It was created by a guy named Will Wright. Now, if any of you guys are out there are SimCity junkies, you probably know who Will Wright was. Will Wright was actually the inventor, would go on to invent SimCity after he made this game. So just a little story about Will Wright. He grew up in Louisiana, and he went to LSU. Any LSU Tiger fans? Yeah. After 2 years there, he went to Louisiana Tech. And he liked, for the things that he liked was architecture. He actually went to get a degree in architecture. So he's really into architecture, and then he went into mechanical engineering. And he got really interested in the computers and robotics. He was really good at those subjects, but then some other subjects that it's like language arts he wasn't very good at. He transferred from Louisiana Tech and went to the New School in Manhattan. And he lived in a little apartment, and he spent his spare time.
Wait, it was called the New School?
Yeah, it's called the New School.
Huh, I wonder if they still call it the New School, because it's been around for a while.
I don't know. Now it's the old school.
Oh, so that's the old school.
Yeah, well, you know what's interesting is he went to the New School in 1980, but the New School was established in 1919. So the not-so-new school.
Now we know what the old school is.
Yeah, the not-so-new school.
Right.
But anyway, while he was going there, he spent his spare times like in electronic stores, trying to build robots and things. And he only spent a year there at the New School, and he went back to Baton Rouge, concluding 5 years of being in college and no degree.
Sounds like.
But
me.
I think his life turned out okay. So he went home and he decided in an interview in 2003, he actually claimed that he spent so much time designing video games that that's what he decided to do. And so his first game being Raid on Bungeling Bay, which was originally released for the Commodore 64. Now, he found the interesting thing about when he was creating Raid on Bungeling Bay was that he was really into creating the levels and being like the level editor. And he got so into it, more into it than playing the actual action-packed helicopter flying, that he decided that it might be a good idea to actually make a game where players can build levels, because he was so into it, and he knew, and this goes back to his love of architecture that he originally was into. He wanted to give that to the players because he thought that would be an interesting game, and that is where the idea for SimCity came. So it's interesting that that's the birth of SimCity. So any SimCity junkies out there, if you will.
Junkies.
SimCity junkies.
How about just fans? I'm sure there's just some fans.
But there's probably some junkies too.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, they went out and they made SimCity. He was actually a co-founder of the game development company Maxis, and which is now a part of EA. And he worked for EA for a while. And in April of 2009, he left EA to run the Stupid Fun Club, which is an entertainment think tank in which Wright and EA are principal shareholders. I don't know what the Stupid Fun Club does, but it sounds stupid fun.
Yeah, I'm down. If you want to join, I'll join with you.
Yeah, let's get into that. Probably not smart enough.
What do you mean?
It's run by guys like Will Wright.
Stupid Fun Club? We're smart enough.
Well, you know, I can't design a game. Can you design a game?
Well,
I've never tried. Maybe I could.
I've tried a couple times. I've got about 3 games that are about 10% done, and they all are not very good.
Okay.
Over the span of my 30 years, actually, I did Tangent Time. All right, on like an old, I don't even know. I guess it'd be like an Apple II, the things with the green screens and stuff that we used to have way back when, and the floppy disks. I did design a choose your own text adventure game back in those days.
Oh,
when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sweet. I think you were, let's see, when I was 10, I was probably I was already into video games pretty hardcore. So I think you were probably like Mario and Sonic teaming up, which back then was unheard of. Now it's just a thing because that's weird. But anyways, back then...
Well, you could actually sue Nintendo for stealing your idea.
Yeah, I guess I could. But that's what it was. It was a text adventure where Mario and Sonic teamed up, and you had to go on these, you click here, you type yes or no, and then it goes to different things. It was good. It's a good game. I should sell it.
You should.
I never did get a patent on it. You know,
I think that the Sonic and Mario thing is if you can't beat them, join them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Sonic. We've talked about this before. Sega was kind of beaten back by Nintendo a little bit. Not to offend any Sega, but the Dreamcast kind of fell. Nintendo's continued to succeed, and then Sega just started making games for Nintendo.
They succeeded until about right now, which the
Wii
that's
U's
not doing too good. Although I will say I love I have a Wii U and I have a 3DS. Mm-hmm. I love them both. I wish more people loved them so that they would be able to put more games out more frequently and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
Well, I've never played the Wii U. I have just the regular Wii.
Uh-huh.
But I love the Wii. I mean, I thought it was a good game. I wish that there was more games for it.
Yeah.
But the majority of my time playing the Wii has been playing the Virtual Console, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Playing the old games.
That's true. I will say that this is a good spot for a tangent that I was going to try to squeeze in on the end. But I've been playing the Wii U and been playing the 3DS stuff, and they have the eShop. Well, the eShop, unless you're on the Nintendo, it's really hard to see what they have because they don't have like a website for it. But I did find a really cool app for anybody that's curious. It's called the eShop Companion. It's on the Android. And
cool.
I talked to the creator of the app, and he's a really nice guy. So I told him I would drop him a spot on our podcast, and he may drop us a spot on his app. Little mutual promotion here, but it's a cool app, and he's also got like a Miiverse exchange where you can exchange Miiverse stuff with people, because that's also really hard to do. It's hard to make friends on the Miiverse because it's hard to find people. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's enough of a tangent. How about we go back to the actual NES game instead of talking about new stuff?
Okay. All right. So just to kind of wrap up what the history of Bungeling Bay, I just sort of mentioned the Bungling Empire. And Raid on Bungeling Bay was not the first time the bungling people, I guess you could say.
The bungling race.
The bungling race showed up. But they were in Lode Runner, a game called Lode Runner that was also brought out by Broderbund, and they were the enemies in that game. And in a game then they came out with Raid On Bungeling Bay, which the player actually fought the Bunglings. And in the game called Choplifter, the Bunglings were said to be behind the kidnapping of the hostages that you have to free.
Yeah, the Bungling Empire is kind of like Broderbund's villain. It's just their go-to villain. So
yeah,
but
that they never really explain.
No.
You don't need to know who they are.
But it's cool. I mean, it's cool. I like it. I don't know. I've got the manual pulled up when we go to talk about the gameplay, so maybe they say something about them in there.
I actually read this manual, so I know what to expect, which kind of kills the surprise a little bit. But this is another good one. That's what I'd like to be doing. Another tangent is be involved in writing the manuals. That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so just to wrap up, as far as the legacy of this game, Computer Gaming World in 1988 approved of the Nintendo version's graphics, calling it a high adventure with realistic overtones. Which I want to talk about that when we get to the gameplay. I'm not sure if it's so realistic, but and the magazine called it the action strategy game of the year for Nintendo, writing that Raid had been rescued from Broderbund's computer software vaults, updated slightly, and sent out to the challenge all the bright new Nintendo games and blew them out of the water. A delightful game experience. So whoever wrote that article really loved this game. And then Wright, again, I think the big take home from this history is Will Wright's involvement. He was so involved, and you can tell by the game, we'll talk about this in the gameplay, where the Bunglings are building up their battleship and they're continuing to build up against you, and he got really into that, and that's the birth of SimCity. The idea was birthed there. So, anyway, that's about it on history for this game.
Michael's quest to find the cart.
Did you find this game, or did you just have this game?
This, obviously, I honestly had never heard of this game until we got an iTunes suggestion to play this game, which I failed our iTunes listener because I forgot to look him up before the show. So I don't know who requested this, but thank you, whoever you are. So I didn't know what it was. So I went looking around town, because I like to go around town first. And it's nowhere to be found. In our area. Like I went to all my usual shops. Nobody had it. So I had to resort to buying it on eBay.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, I mean, at least I looked around first, but it's not an expensive game for those of you out there. It's really pretty cheap. I think I got it for $6 shipping and all. So, but yes, I did sort of find it. I found it on the internet, which is the easiest place to find it. So I guess I took the easy way out.
Hey, it's not about the end. It's the journey, right? It's the journey to find it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what makes this segment interesting, if it is even interesting at all. I feel like all I ever do is say, well, I didn't find it here, but I found it here. or I've had it all my life. Yeah, whatever.
Well, you found it, so.
Hey, one of these days, I'm going to go on a quest, and I'm not going to find it. And then I don't know what we're going to do.
I feel, though, with the internet, that's probably never going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe I'll go on a quest and find it and say, whoa, that's too expensive, and not buy it.
That could be. Some of these games may be a little hard to find. Could be more expensive.
Yeah.
I would have thought this game would have been hard to find on the internet because it's just, again, I'd never heard of it either. And it's one of those things like, well, if you've never heard of it, and I played a lot of Nintendo games, who else has heard of it?
Yeah, well, I will say, of course I didn't find it in town. And like I said, I went on eBay. And normally, for like popular games, like Mario Duck Hunt or something, there's 50 listings. This only had about 10 maybe. So it was kind of small as far as number of listings. I think it was maybe one page worth of listings. I mean, it wasn't very many. So it is more rare, but nobody wants it at the same time. So it does seem rare, but it's one of those rare games that nobody really cares about, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not expensive once you actually do find it.
The game discussion.
So let's talk about the gameplay. When you got the game, what'd you think of it?
Okay. When I got the game, I popped it in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a game A, game B, and 2-player. I thought, well, I don't have anybody to play with, so I guess I'll just go with game A. The first thing that pops out to me is it controls unlike most flying games. Like if you press left, it doesn't go left. It turns the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's tank controls basically, which I guess is more accurate. I don't know, but it really is not fun to do on the D-pad. Like the D-pad and the controller trying to control it, it was blowing my mind. I couldn't do it. So what I did was I got out 2 controllers, and I tried this game with 3 different controllers. I tried it with the regular NES controller with the D-pad. Didn't like it. I hated it. I just couldn't control it. It was clunky. I didn't like it. So then I pulled out a actual joystick. You know, like a flight stick where it had like the triggers and stuff. That was pretty cool. So it was like using a joystick, which I imagine it was a lot more fun, probably twice as much fun once I popped that bad boy in. And I imagine that's probably why the Commodore 64 version, some people like it better, because I think the Commodore 64 has a joystick controller anyways.
Right.
So they probably liked it better on there. But the joystick was fun. And then my favorite, because it's normally my favorite controller to use anyways on every game, is the NES Advantage, which is a joystick and buttons. Yeah. So I played, when I started using that, I played the game for probably 45 minutes with that. But the biggest problem, aside from the controls, is I played it for 45 minutes and never figured out what to do.
Yeah, this is a game where we talked about Jaws last week, where you don't really have a whole lot of direction on kind of what to do, and you kind of just got to know what to do. I think this game, at the same time, you just kind of fly around and shoot stuff.
Yeah, I did figure out that, I have bombs, and I have, like, a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I run out of bombs, and then I can go and land back on the aircraft carrier and get more bombs at any time. So, you fly to these different spots, which the map is really big. It's really, really big, You can fly around. Maybe it just feels big because it wraps around, It feels endless because of the way it wraps.
Mm-hmm.
But, you run out of bombs, you go back, you land on the aircraft carrier, and you fly. And the thing is, the bombs, I thought maybe I was supposed to be bombing the buildings.
Yeah.
But I would bomb the buildings and nothing would happen. So I don't know if I'm supposed to bomb, specific buildings, and I just didn't figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of confusing when you start to play it, and it's like, I don't know what you're just kind of flying around. There's some guys in some boats. You got to shoot them. Now, I did some research and kind of looking at what you're supposed to do. And, like, the guys in the boats, they're just like spotters. So you want to knock them out. Because they relay to the jets that come in,
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that are supposed to be spotting for the jets. Now, I don't know who figured that out, but, yeah. So, you want to shoot the boats, and then the tanks, you gotta shoot them. It's interesting. It's kind of repetitive.
Yeah. It is. It's an open world too. I mean, that's something that you didn't see a whole lot in the days of the 8-bit. I mean, it's just, you can do whatever you want as long as, as long as you're in a helicopter. But I mean, you can fly anywhere, go anywhere you want, shoot anything, bomb anything. I spent a lot of time shooting the satellite dishes because I really, I thought, I was worried about Big Brother, so I started shooting a bunch of satellite dishes.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting too, and this is one thing that I wanted to kind of point out, is that you're just it's an interesting feel because there's this giant empire with several tanks and several, jets and boats and things. They're building this giant battleship, and you're just on your own. No help. No,
yeah, where's all
not
the other
necessary.
helicopters and stuff?
Yeah, I just feel like if there was an evil empire that's building up this massive thing to take over the world, and they're building this battleship, I don't think you're going to want to just send one helicopter in.
And how did you even get the aircraft carrier into the middle of their ring of islands?
Yeah, that's interesting too.
Maybe this is just a really awesome aircraft carrier and helicopter.
Yeah.
The helicopter is huge though, because in the game, if you look at whenever it lands on the aircraft carrier, it takes up half the aircraft carrier. Which, if you've ever seen or been on an aircraft carrier, those things it's like 4 football fields. I mean, they're huge. You can fit probably 50 helicopters on one. But
right.
But this helicopter takes up half of the aircraft carrier. So
yeah. What's interesting too, just like you said, you're just driving on in.
Yeah.
All right, game on.
We're here.
We're not well equipped. We only have one helicopter. We're gonna take you on.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, I got a manual.
All right, let's do the manual.
All right. Raid on Bungeling Bay.
Oh boy.
Alrighty here. How to play. We have obtained information that the Bungling Empire is trying to conquer Earth by developing a war machine. In order to stop this, you must sneak into their center, Bungeling Bay, to destroy the 6 secret factories using a helicopter. This is your mission. That's the whole story.
Yeah. And I love how they refer to sneaking in. I don't really know you're sneaking in. You're just kind of driving up in there. And the helicopter just goes in.
I don't know.
Well, I guess, the helicopter that did the raid on Bin Laden's compound there in Pakistan.
Yeah, sometimes all it takes is a helicopter.
It just snuck right in,
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
maybe this was a stealth helicopter. They predicted it some 30 years before we actually used the stealth helicopter on a military mission. So,
I do want to talk about the 2-player mode.
Okay.
Because the 2-player mode is interesting. It's one of the more interesting aspects of this game. In 2-player mode, one player is the helicopter, and the other player is actually the Bungling Empire, and you're like shooting at you control like the bases shooting at the helicopter.
Yeah.
Which is something it's weird. I didn't get to play it, but it's something I can imagine not being very much fun for the second player.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a crazy concept back in that day to have the second player be... It's kind of like having the second player control the ducks in Duck Hunt, or having the second player... or if you could imagine having the second player control the ghosts in Pac-Man or something. It's weird.
Or Bowser, yeah.
Or Bowser. I don't understand it, but it's cool that they thought of that and put that in the game. I wish my wife was more into video games. I would have got her to play with me, but
it's an interesting concept. How fun would Super Mario Brothers have been if you could have played as Bowser?
Well, if you could get somebody to sit around and wait on you to get there.
That's true. I guess maybe that's not that fun. Or maybe the other player could just play as one Goomba and just keeps chasing you. You can't get rid of it until you kill it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. So the music in this game, though. How about the music?
There's not much to it.
Yeah, you got one song.
But I think it's pretty good, to be honest with you.
I didn't get tired of it.
I liked it. Yeah.
I mean,
usually
it was perfect background music.
Kind of like Tetris. Tetris, well, you can choose between 3 songs. If you're gonna get that song for the rest of the game.
Yep.
And you don't get tired. I don't get tired of Tetris.
No.
Either.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't really pay much attention to the music because that's what it was. It was really good background music. Which
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to do this episode of ours yet. I don't know if I'm going to splice in some other chiptune type music, or if I'm just going to make everybody listen to the same song over and over again, like you do in the game.
That would be fitting.
Yeah, that would be fitting. But it was such an obscure game with such a small amount of music that our guy, the Wii guy, you know, the guy that does their music, he did not have this. But I will say, when I told him he hadn't done it yet, he went ahead and said, "Okay, here it is." He gave it to me. He went ahead and just did it. So it was nice of him. And I think, I was going to talk about this also at the end of the show, but I think it's about time. I mean, he's done a lot of songs for us on this show. I think it's about time we made him an honorary dude.
Mm-hmm. I do. Yeah.
So
I do agree.
A wee guy, I think we dub the wee dude from now on our show.
The wee dude.
The wee dude. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Not the wee guy, the wee dude.
Yep. For this show. He can be the wee guy everywhere else. But for our show, he's the wee dude.
Yeah.
So, we do appreciate all the music that he lets us use for this show.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's awesome. I hope the listeners enjoy it. I'm sure they do.
We haven't got any complaints about that yet. It's always just history and ums.
Yeah.
And a mysterious echo.
Down yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Just to throw this out there, Awesome Gingerbeard is the one who requested this game.
Oh, sweet. Awesome Gingerbeard.
So, Awesome Gingerbeard, thank you for requesting the game.
And also, Awesome Gingerbeard, you haven't claimed your prize yet. Remember, you won one of the review games. So if you want to claim that prize, just give us an email. Come on.
Mm-hmm. And we're really catering to Awesome Gingerbeard.
I know. I didn't realize before this episode, but man, he's getting a prize. We're playing his game.
We need to know who this guy is.
Yeah, you need to come out, Awesome Gingerbread. We need to know you.
Yeah.
We've done so much for you on this episode. I think we've earned the right to know who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's
what
talk
kind of
gravity.
helicopter are you flying here? Well, I want to know what kind of helicopter you're flying here.
It's called a helicopter. In the manual, it's called a helicopter.
Apache, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. It's got like a... No, I don't know. It's got if you look at an up-close picture of the pixel in the game, which they show in the manual, it's got one of those huge, like, round glass things in the front.
Oh, one of those.
So it's probably one of those.
Yeah. I forget what that's called. I used to kind of know them.
You used to know your helicopters? Used to
know my helicopters. Yeah. I was a helicopter guru.
Well,
I'm typing in, this is interesting, I'm typing in military helicopters into Google, and the first thing that popped up was military helicopters for sale.
That's scary.
Want to buy you a military helicopter? Huh?
Anybody? That's scary.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I want to talk about the graphics of this game.
Yeah.
Because some of it is well done, and some of it is just kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
That's my technical word for just okay. It's meh.
Well, I felt like they were a little too happy. It wasn't dark enough.
Yeah, they do claim realism.
Yeah.
But aside from the aircraft carrier itself and the helicopter, everything is kind of cutesy. It kind of reminds me of Micro Machines.
Yeah. Especially like the bubbly letters at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
The bubbly sky blue letters.
Yeah. It has an intimidating name. Raid on Bungeling Bay.
And let's talk about the cover.
Oh man, the cover's super scary. I feel like I was getting ready to watch like some horror movie from the 80s.
Yeah, I mean it was freaked me out.
Yeah, I know. But it really does not represent the game at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Well, why couldn't they have just done a cover with a helicopter and an aircraft carrier?
Yeah.
Seems like a gimme to me. But
yeah, no, I agree. But who is the guy? Who is like the devilish looking guy?
That must be the bungling emperor.
Yeah, maybe. They don't really talk about him. But, wow, it's creepy. That's for sure.
The emperor of the bungling empire is a giant skull with flaming eyes.
Blue eyes. Yeah, it's creepy. So, as far as I did a little research here just now, and around 84, what that helicopter probably would have been, with that rounded glass, and some military guru is probably going to call me out for this, but I'm trying here. It's called the MD helicopter MH6 Little Bird, which doesn't really fit. It's actually kind of a small helicopter, which doesn't really fit what it looks like on the aircraft carrier. But that rounded glass front, it matches this the MH6 Little Bird, and would have been this helicopter was made active in 1980. So I would say this is probably maybe what it was modeled after, and it was used for special operations in the United States Army, and it's still active today.
Maybe it's like a modification on that, and maybe it's the Big Bird.
Maybe. Although I say this helicopter is pretty intimidating. It's got two big gun turrets on the side of it.
Yeah, I think that's the one then. I bet that's it.
Yeah. So, this is it. I don't really see where you could hold bombs. I'm not saying that it couldn't. Probably could. But that was definitely... That's another thing. You have unlimited ammo as far as the guns go. Never have to reload.
Yeah, but it's not like you're shooting a whole lot of bullets. You're just shooting one or two. The one thing I wish it did have is I wish it had an actual like Gatling gun where you could rapid fire.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But instead, you got to keep hitting the button. And even when I turned the turbo on the NES Advantage, it still didn't shoot very fast. It's like it's limited to once every so many button presses.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure any helicopter that has a gun on it, it's not going to shoot one bullet at a time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What would be the point of that? It's like you instead of having an actual gun mounted on the helicopter, you just got some guy hanging out the side with a pistol. With a pistol.
He's just shooting a Glock.
Just Rambo style.
Yeah. Even Rambo had a machine gun. Come on.
Okay.
Or Rambo. Or a machete.
Speaking of Rambo, No, that's a terrible joke. I was going to say we're rambling on somehow, but anyways. Let's just talk about some trophies. You want to? Okay.
Retrofitted trophy.
Okay.
Do you have any?
You go ahead.
Does that mean no?
No.
It means you need to think about something. Hey, I got one.
Seriously, I sat and thought about this last night, and I'm like, I don't really know.
They were hard to come up with. I think I may have two, and I've forgotten one of them, but I know one of them. I had those bungling bunglings. No, wait, those bumbling bunglings? Bumbling bunglings. It's a tongue twister, right? Try to say that 2 times fast. Those bumbling bunglings. And that is beat the game, destroy the empire without losing any helicopters.
The bumbling bunglings. So there's like, so they're like having a hard time getting it.
Yeah, they're like, they can't figure out how to get me. They're just bumbling. Like a cartoon.
Yeah. Okay, I got one. Shark food. It's when you make the bunglings shark food from shooting the boats. I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that at all.
That's what we get for thinking of them off the top of our heads, right?
Yeah, I'm not. If I could retract that, I would. I apologize.
If it wasn't so funny, I would edit it out. But I think I got a pretty good kick out of it.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, let me try to do a really embarrassing one.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not on it.
All right.
Yeah. Let's just stop there. That's a good stopping point.
Okay.
Tom Arnold would be impressed, though, by your bumbling.
My
trophy.
improv there?
Yeah, your improv.
I've got some good improv chops. That's for sure. Yeah.
Game rating.
How about a rating then? A rating.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to come up with a rating this week? I'm giving you the option.
How about a type of helicopter?
Yeah, I was afraid you was going to do that.
Why would you be afraid of that?
Because I don't have it. I'm going to go Apache then, because that's the only one I know. Because that's the one that is frequently used. No, wait. I'll go with something better. I don't know. It's going to be very generic, and all the military gurus that listen to our show, the generals and whatnot, they're gonna hate on me. But I'm going to go with that. I'm thinking of that Vietnam era helicopter that was just all dome. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
It's just all glass dome in the front. That's all it is. And it's got the Gatling gun underneath. I'm going to go with that one. Just because I like that helicopter. I think it's pretty cool. Probably not very smart at the time. Which is why they probably don't use it anymore. But
Well, the one that I'm going to go with is one that's in the news often, called the V-22 Osprey. Because it looks cool and the idea is great. Kind of like a plane that lifts off from the ground. It's got two propellers on the side. You know, you've seen this one.
No, yeah, I've seen it. Mm-hmm.
And it's always debate whether we should be building them or not. And the reason that I'm going to go with this one is it looks really cool, and the idea is pretty cool on the outside. But then when it's actually being used, it's not very good.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I kind of think about this game.
I like what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah.
On
the outside, it's really cool. The idea is cool, but I didn't really.
Yeah.
It's take it or leave it on this.
I got you. I'm gonna retract and go back to Apache, just because I want to tie to the game better.
Okay.
And the Apache is really fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this game, if you keep holding like the go button, there's like 32 different speeds you can go. And when you go the fastest speed, you're just flying super fast across the screen. Can't even control your airplane or your helicopter. So I'm gonna go with Apache because it's super fast, and so is the plane. So is the helicopter in this game.
Yeah.
Still a super lame trophy or rating. Man.
Probably not as lame as my trophy though.
I don't know. At least yours was funny. Mine's just gonna be like crickets.
Just fell dead.
Yeah, mine's just gonna fall on deaf ears.
Boom.
Well, you want to do some feedback?
Sure. Let's see.
We had
this game?
I don't know if anybody played it, but we did get we didn't get a rating per se because it wasn't on iTunes, but Nick DeMarco left us a cool comment on Podomatic, so I thought I would read it.
Okay.
He says, a quality show, and not just because of my superb announcing and gems on the Retro Junkies hotline. Two dudes in a nest, despite Michael's admittance to liking the Genesis. Nick, I haven't admitted that on this show. Thanks for outing me. But anyways, it is a quality program where you get wit, humor, knowledge, and just an overall entertaining podcast that leaves you a better person from having listened to it. It is indeed the greatest thing since the cheese log.
The cheese log.
Which, if you listen to our episode where he called into the Retro Junkies hotline, he mentions cheese log over and over again. So
right.
There's the tie there.
He loves cheese logs.
He likes cheese logs, from what I understand. But thank you, Nick. Appreciate that.
So to look at this, I'm looking at the feedback on Facebook, and you mentioned the look of it as being a horror movie.
Uh-huh.
The No Swear Gamer, actually, his comment was, while I don't recall playing the game, I do recall the box art looking like the cover of a 1980s B-grade horror movie.
Yeah, that must be where I got that comment.
Yeah.
Sorry, stole that from you, No Swear Gamer.
Yeah, it does look like a B-grade horror movie on the cover.
Why don't you go ahead and take all the Facebook feedback? That way I don't have to pull it up.
All right. Well, Justin Thorne said, I think this is one of the only NES games my cousin owned for a while, so we played it a lot as kids.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm sorry
I
for
feel
your
sorry
cousin.
Yeah, wow. Ugh. Man. His parents must have hated him. So Chadwick Hall said, "Never heard of it. Title screen looks cool though."
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't look
yeah.
like it matches the game once you actually play the
Right.
game. But
Yeah. And let's see, Jay Jorgensen. "I got nothing on this game. Looks interesting though. And Jeff, don't knock on the platypus." I guess I should have read Jeff Uples first.
you read these backwards.
All right, forget I said that. Jeff Uples said, let's go. Aaron Hickman said, we're really prepared. Aaron Hickman said, "Dope! How'd I miss this one?" Smiley face. So Aaron Hickman hadn't even played this game. And he's played pretty much everything.
And he also missed his guess, which he's usually one of the first people to guess our game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's referring to how he missed playing this one or how he missed his guess on this one, but either way, he normally knows. He's a big music guy, so he usually knows the music at the end of the game. But anyway.
Jeff Upel said,
Upel.
"Hey Aaron, even God made the platypus. Don't worry about it, man. You'll get the next one." I guess he's trying to say that the platypus was a mistake. I don't know. Jay Jorgensen then said, "I got nothing on this game. Looks interesting enough. And Jeff, don't knock on the platypus.
Now it makes more sense.
It's had a hard enough existence." Right.
Hey, but the platypus sticks around, so it's doing something right.
And I feel like that's one of those, even though it's an obscure animal, everybody knows of it. You know, it's not like you've just got duck-billed platypus just walking around everywhere.
It's not like the snail darter.
No.
Which, that's a reference to locally here, but anyways.
One of your pictures, you put speed limit enforced by aircraft with the helicopter setting there. Scott Davies said, "Desert Strike, ? You should do Two Dudes in a Genesis."
I'd be down for Two Dudes in a Genesis, except for we already have a podcast on our network.
That's what I was about to say.
Called Genesis Gems, which they haven't put out an episode in a while, so if they don't put out an episode, maybe they're just going to get taken over by Two Dudes in a Genesis.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, so this episode, I don't know.
We got more feedback. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought we jumped the gun.
Sorry.
Well, there's some more. It's kind of scattered. I'm trying to just kind of hit it all. Eric Purcell said, "Hard to believe when that had to be one of the all-time most popular game titles to ever grace a Nintendo console." Wink face.
Is that sarcasm?
I take by the wink face. That's definitely sarcasm.
Who is that? Who said that?
Eric Purcell.
Ah, yes, Eric.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true. And the No Swear Gamer put up this picture. It says, "Okay, this is probably hard to see, but in a 1989 free catalog, they list Raid on Bungeling Bay for sale used at $17.95, and they'd buy it for $8. In the same ad, they list stadium events for $21.95, and they'd buy that for $10. Hey, I'll give you $11.
I did want to mention
easy."
That.
Yeah.
I did want to mention that. That was interesting that he put that up, because can you imagine being the guy? Because they're both similarly priced, right? Stadium events at Raid on Bungeling Bay. Can you imagine being the guy back in the day, like, stadium events doesn't look that good. I'll just go ahead and go with Raid on Bungeling Bay. And then now I don't know how old you would be now. You're probably 50 out there.
Yeah.
If you bought this game yourself back then, but you're looking back on it and you're thinking, oh man.
Yeah.
Because Raid on Bungeling Bay is actually depreciated, right? But stadium events is ridiculously high.
Right.
So.
We're not talking about stadium events, but why? I mean, is it just that rare?
Yeah, it's just super rare.
Yeah, I just pulled up eBay. $13.99, and I'm not saying $13.99. I'm saying $1,399. So yeah. Wow.
Well, I did also want to mention the No Swear Gamer, since you brought him up. He also put on our wall about our last episode, Jaws, and said that it's actually not based on the first Jaws movie. It's based on the fourth Jaws movie, which I've never seen. But he said if you watch that movie, it makes more sense about the shells and the bombing from the airplane and all that stuff. So,
That's interesting.
so maybe I have to check that out.
If anybody's interested in playing Raid on Bungeling Bay after this action-packed episode, it's $5.99 on eBay. Yeah, it's $5.99 on eBay, free shipping. They're basically just paying. You're basically just paying for them to send it to you. They're giving you the game.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Here's a free game. Just pay for the shipping.
Yeah. So.
Okay, before we close out the show, I did want to mention, we made the wee guy an honorary dude. Called him the wee dude now, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a proposition to the D-padders, all right? And it's kind of a lofty goal. I don't know how well this is going to work. But and we'll probably make it up as we go, so forgive us. But I think we can we got a lot of D-padders that listen to us and give us feedback and do all kinds of stuff with us. I think we can eventually make them honorary dudes as well.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement like a point system that I haven't figured out how it works yet, but I'm going to implement like a point system. So every time you give us some feedback, every time you retweet us or share our posts, if you share our actual Facebook page and get us some more likes, that kind of thing, you do that stuff for us. Or you use the hashtag DPadderForLife that we've started, which is kind of, a hashtag. You do those types of things, you get points. You get to a certain amount of points that we deem dude-worthy, then you become a dude, an honorary dude. We call you like, I don't know, what's one of our, Aaron Hickman? We could call him Dude Hickman or something. And to further entice you to do this, because I don't know if just being a dude is enough for you, but if you become a dude, you get a game from us. We'll give you a game for being a dude. How about that? How about that?
How about that?
I think that's a pretty sweet deal. Not only do you become an honorary dude, but you get a game in the process. And I'll give some. I know we've got some listeners that have already been doing a lot for us, or D-padders. Sorry, we've got some that have already done a lot, so I'll give them a few points to start off. So some of you guys, you know who you are. You're getting a few points to begin with. But once you earn enough additional points, and any other listeners out there that want to do this, feel free.
Game on.
Game on. All right, tell them how to get us.
All right, check us out on our website, nesdudes.com. Okay, there's little tidbits, and we put up what the trophies we talk about and the ratings for these games that we eat for each game that we do. And you can also listen to the podcast on the website. You can download us, of course, on iTunes. Please review and rate us. And then check us out on Twitter and Facebook. Facebook, we're right around 200 likes on Facebook. So get out there and like us on Facebook. I think you'll enjoy it because Michael spends a lot of time putting a lot of stuff on the Facebook page that's really funny and interesting. And when you go to our Facebook page, check out an article that was brought to us by a friend of ours named John, who it's an article from Grantland, actually. And it's a really good article about kind of the history of Nintendo. So.
And I do want to say that I'm proud of our Facebook page. Those 203 likes or whatever, not a single one was paid for, which is something on Facebook. You can pay for likes.
Yeah,
we haven't paid for any of them. So thank you all 200 and however many of you for actually liking our page. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the paid likes are not really likes.
No.
So you 200 and something Facebookers, you actually like us. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Tom Arnold would be impressed.
Tom Arnold would be very impressed. All right.
All right. Here comes the sounds and the noises and whatnot for next week. Good luck guessing.
Goodbye, everyone.